October 20th and October 27th. Those minutes are approved. Now we'll move on to the recognitions portion of the agenda. We have several recognitions that were submitted from Humphreys County High School, Ida Green, as well as Yazoo City High School. And I'll ask Mr. Russell, are you going to present? I see Ms. Powell's name here. Would you like Ms. Powell to present in your behalf?
Sure. Ms. Powell?
Sure.
Go ahead, Ms. Powell.
Yes, our employees of the, can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yes, our employees for the month of November. Our certified employee of the month is Mr. Larry Jefferson. He is our AP U.S. Government Economic Instructor. And our non-classified employee of the month is Miss Linda Harper. She is our media assistant. And our students of the month this month for academic excellence is Miss Colby Evans. She's a 9th grader. And also Mr. Robert Lee. He is also the 9th grader. And for our positive participators, these students are model the Cowboy Code of Conduct, which is be responsible, be respectful, and be ready to learn. And we select a student from each grade level. Our first student is our 9th grade student, Tashantis Bullock. 10th grade, Jasmine Whitfield. 11th grade, Larry Edwards. And our 12th grade student is Decoya Wynn. And these students are our positive participators for the month of November.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And so would you also introduce the names of your State Superintendent Student Advisory Council members?
Yes, our State Superintendent Advisory Council members. Its first student is Trendarius Bias. He's a senior at Humphreys County High School. Our next student is Jacoby Washington. He's 11th grader at Humphreys County High School.
Now, I know Mr. Bias and Mr. Washington are on our website, but in terms of your employees of the month, what are we going to do to share that with everyone other than here at the board meeting? Are we going to put their pictures on the website as well?
Yes, we are. We're doing it tomorrow.
Awesome. So be sure to follow up with Mr. Wilson to make sure that happens. We want to see their faces to let them know how much we appreciate them, the employees of the month and the students of the month, the positive participators for what they're doing at the school level. We really appreciate it. And so now this time I'll call Dr. Landfair, principal of Ida Green. We're going back to employee of the month.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. For our teacher of the month, we have Kiana Gamil. She's a 1st grade teacher at Ida Green Elementary. And for our paraprofessional of the month, we have Beverly Sanders. She is Miss Gamil's assistant teacher. So both of them won in those categories for the month.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want to say thank you once again to Mr. Jefferson at Humphreys County High School, Ms. Harper at Humphreys County High School, Ms. Gamil at Ida Green Elementary School, Ms. Sanders at Ida Green Elementary School. We thank you for your work and your commitment to your schools. We appreciate your dedication. We know that our students are benefiting positively from the work that you are doing. And once again, thank you to the students of the month from Jim Hill. I'm thinking Jim Hill High School. Forgive me. Humphreys County High School, Kobe Evans and Robert Lee Jr. And our positive participators, once again, congratulations to you. Tashantis Bullock, Jasmine Whitfield, Larry Edwards, Decoya Wynn, and we thank Mr. Bias and Mr. Washington from Humphreys County High School for being Student Advisory Council members with the State Superintendent of Education from Mississippi. And while here, I will recognize Mr. Russell, who is a part of the State Superintendent's Principal Advisory Council. Say hello, Mr. Russell, since you're here, so everybody will know that you're there.
Hey, everybody.
And also Ms. Marquita Robertson, who is the principal of Webster Street Elementary School on the Yazoo City side. She's also a part of the State Superintendent's Principal Advisory Council. Ms. Robertson, if you're with us, I know that you've been away due to illness, but if you're on, please chime in to say hello to everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you for joining, Ms. Robertson. We hope that all is well with you and that you're healthy, happy, and whole.
Yes.
All right. All right, and we'll go on now to our next area. I think we're missing something. Dr. Fuller, are you with us to introduce the name of your state superintendent student advisory council member?
Yes, sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Big congratulations goes out to Millennia Felton for representing Yazoo City High School for the State Superintendent Student Advisory Council.
That's awesome. We're so pleased to have our students represented on the State Superintendent Students Advisory Council, as well as our principals. You know, we represent well wherever we go. And while we're here, Dr. Fuller, tell us a little bit about what your students experienced today with the reality fair.
With the reality fair, those students, they had setups in booths. Those students went around to experience more of a monthly budget where they have to kind of budget a certain amount of money that was given to them, and also how to budget dealing with household expenses, car payments, more of the everyday life things that we do as adults. And those students had to make some hard choices on what they wanted and what they needed. And so I thought that was a great experience for them, so that when they do get out in the real world, it kind of gave them a head start on how to kind of budget their funds or whatever.
Thank you, Dr. Fuller. I appreciate you for working with Judge Cotton and with Chief Brown and making sure that our students were able to participate in this. You know, this is one of those experiences as I reflect upon it, wish I had when I was younger, before I got into the adult world and start having to adult my way through all of the financial skirmishes that we have to take on once we leave our parents' homes. And so thank you for ensuring that our students at Yazoo City High, those that attended, were able to participate in that. We know they will gain, that they did gain a great deal of information. We'll use that appropriately as they continue in their adult lives. Let's go on now to the discussion action item on the agenda. Mr. Giles, you're up next.
Thank you, Dr. Watkins. Item 4.1 is approval to accept a monetary donation from the Yazoo City Mayor and Board of Aldermen to the Yazoo City High School basketball team, girls basketball team. That donation will be used to address the needs of student athletes participating on the girls basketball team at Yazoo City High School.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. That item is approved. Let's go to 4.2.
4.2 is approval of a MOU between the Mississippi Achievement School District and the Mississippi Wireless Communication Commission. And this agreement will allow the Mississippi Achievement School District to communicate with law enforcement through our district police department. They'll be able to communicate with outside law enforcement and also communicate between the Yazoo and the Humphreys region. And we feel this will improve safety and security in both regions, with us being able to communicate on shortwave radio with the outside agencies, sheriff, police department, and other law enforcement agencies. So we're looking for approval to accept that agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. That item is approved. 4.3, long awaited 4.3.
Yes, sir. 4.3 is approval to accept the Performing Arts Auditorium renovation in Humphreys County. That contract between the Mississippi Achievement School District and David Smith Construction. Approval of this contract will allow David Smith Construction to get started on that project. As you said, it's been long overdue and long awaited. So we look forward to that.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. That item is approved. 4.4.
4.4, we're also excited about this one. This is the approval of the sub-recipient agreement of the direct training providers grant between the Mississippi Achievement School District and Accelerate Mississippi. Approval of this agreement will allow the Mississippi Achievement School District to accept and administer grant funds awarded through Accelerate Mississippi to provide workforce development training for adults aged 18 and over in both the Humphreys region and the Yazoo City region. Approval of this agreement will give the Mississippi Achievement School District access to those grant funds and give us a larger impact on the overall success and growth of our community. So we're really excited about this Accelerate Mississippi opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Giles, for presenting this item, and I also want the public to know that you wrote this item. You wrote this particular grant to receive these funds. If I recall correctly, you were able to get everything that you asked for in the grant except this one particular area. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The only thing we did not get in the grant was stipends for the participants, but we were able to get everything else that we asked for.
Thank you, Mr. Giles. 4.4 is approved. Mr. Wilson, 4.5 is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Watkins, we're asking for approval of the Mississippi Department of Education data sharing agreement with Bright Bites. And what this does is through the Mississippi Connects Digital Learning Program under the Equity and Distance Education Act, it helps Mississippi Department of Education to collect data in terms of equity and distance learning and digital platforms and resources for students while they're at home and school. And through this process, there's a series of surveys and other data collection means in order for Mississippi Department of Education, Technology Department, and Teaching and Learning Department to assess our equity in terms of distance and digital learning, and be able to offer us strategies and other opportunities that come through grants and other opportunities through their departments. So I'm asking that you approve the agreement for the Humphreys County School District and the Yazoo City Municipal School District for this data sharing agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. That's 4.5 and 4.6. Those items are approved. Ms. Bailey, 4.7 and 4.8, and 4.9, 4.10, 4.11, as well as 4.12.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'm asking for approval for our Funches and Bean consulting companies contracts for Humphreys County and Yazoo City. Funches and Bean has been partnering with our district since this summer to support us in a number of ways to help improve our instructional effectiveness and student outcomes. And so for these two particular contracts, we'll be targeting data mining and data coaching. Funches and Bean has empowered our principals by providing them with a powerful data platform. And so it enables them to quickly be able to analyze their data and use their time and energy to make decisions about the data and how best to respond for their students, rather than spending that time calculating and determining where they stand. So these two contracts for both regions will target data coaching, data mining, also teacher coaching and instructional planning for our end of course assessments. Our students in our high schools will be moving into Algebra 1, Biology 1, US History and English 2 in the spring. And so these contracts will support us with planning for those courses to ensure that the outcomes our high schools realize will be maximized. So we're asking for approval for Funches and Bean.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Those are items 4.7 and 4.8. They are approved. 4.9.
4.9 and 4.10 are for our special services department. The current copier contracts are expiring. And so quotes were sought out for copier services, and the lowest and best bid came from Toshiba Business Solutions. And so, 4.10 is not for Toshiba.
Right, 4.9.
So this one just deals with Yazoo City, Toshiba Business Solutions, but that is the purpose we're asking for approval.
And 4.9 is approved. 4.10.
4.10, we're also seeking approval to partner with a vendor to provide speech services for our special services students in that particular area. We've been challenged for the past couple of years in the area of speech pathologists and speech and language clinicians. And so this provides us with an opportunity to provide those resources to students. The individuals that will support will provide 30 minutes one time a week. It might vary depending on what their IEP says, but they will also conduct evaluations, write IEPs, and hold IEP meetings, and provide compensatory services for any time that students missed based upon what's in their IEP. So this is Presence, which is a speech service, a virtual speech services partner.
Okay. 4.10 is approved. All right, Ms. Bailey, 4.11.
Okay. We have fundraisers for our Yazoo City region. We do have a set for Webster Elementary School. Of course, we encourage principals to raise funds for the activity account to ensure that incentives can be provided to students, and other events and activities can be conducted that district funds might not be able to be used for. So we do have fundraisers for Webster Elementary and Woolfolk Middle School. And just to speak specifically, Webster is interested in raising funds through school day pictures or holiday pictures, and then also having a Christmas ball.
Okay.
And Woolfolk Middle School is going to have a couple of different events just to get students interested and entertained. But one is purchasing a paper turkey for their teachers and that teacher to nominate a turkey for teachers that cast their vote for their favorite teacher. And that particular teacher will receive a turkey, ham for their unfavored teacher, and that teacher will receive a ham, and then also a talent show. So those are the items that those two schools are seeking to raise funds for.
All right, 4.11.1 is approved. 4.12.
Okay. Webster Elementary also had a donation acceptance letter for your consideration, Dr. Watkins, and this is to request permission to accept school supplies, a school supply donation from Mrs. Annie Anderson, a retired teacher. And the list includes crayons, small backpacks, glue sticks, notebooks, puzzles, highlighters, and Play-Doh. And they will be used for student engagement at Webster Elementary.
Awesome. We really appreciate. And what was the donator's name?
It was Mrs. Annie Anderson.
I certainly want to extend a thank you to Miss Annie Anderson for donating this to Webster Street Elementary School. We know that the students will benefit greatly from this donation. That item is approved. All right, 4.13, Ms. Upshaw.
Good afternoon. 4.13 and 4.15 go along together. 4.13, we're requesting your approval for termination of a 16 section agricultural contract with Wood and Long Farms. That vendor will no longer service that piece of property, but we do have another vendor who is going to be reassigned. And 4.13, we're asking that you terminate that contract with Wood and Long. And 4.13, we're asking your approval to reassign that same contract to Sunshine Planting Company.
That's 4.13 and 4.15, correct?
That's correct.
All right, those are approved. 4.14.
Okay, 4.14 has to do with Yazoo City 16th section. We had one parcel of land to come up for renewal, and the highest bidder there is Atkinson Planting Company. So we're asking your approval of the contract with them.
Okay, 4.14 is approved. All right, Mr. Giles, 4.16 and 4.17. And I believe you have 4.18 as well. We can't hear you. You're still muted.
I think can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
4.16 and 4.17 are the same, I think. 4.16, we asked for approval of a MOU. Give me just a second here. I'm having some technical approval of the Mississippi COPS grant.
Okay.
And just to tell a little bit about the COPS grant, if I can get it pulled up here. It is the Mississippi COPS grant will give us an opportunity to apply for grant funding to help secure additional school resource officers and to support the resource officers that we already have in place. And we feel that this will inevitably give us more safety and security in our schools in both regions. So we ask for approval to apply for the Mississippi COPS grant through the Mississippi Department of Education.
Yes, but it's the same grant, but one for Humphreys and one for Yazoo City.
Yes, sir.
Okay, those items are approved, 4.18.
Yes, sir. 4.18 is approval of PCO number 17. And this is a change order associated with the McCoy construction project. And this change order will allow us to, will allow the contractor to install an additional electrical panel in building B, which we refer to as the B wing at McCoy Elementary. The existing panel did not have enough space to take on the added addition to wing B. So the contractors, in order to be in line with building code and electrical code, they're asking that we put in or allow them to install an additional panel. This will be covered under our contingency funds that are already in place for that project. So we're asking for approval to move forward with PCO 17.
Thank you, Ms. Giles. Mr. Giles, 4.18 is approved. We're now at item 5 at the consent agenda. Those items are 5.1, approval to suspend educator licenses, 5.2, approval to apply for career and technical education license, 5.3, approval to apply for one-year licenses, and 5.4, approval of employment, resignation, and salaries, 5.5, approval of MOU between the Mississippi Achievement School District, Humphreys County, and Delta State University, 5.6, approval of the job description for Executive Secretary for Innovation and Transformation, and 5.7, approval of fixed assets removals, and that was for Mr. Giles, and the others were for Dr. Brown. And so those are all consent agenda items and do not require discussion, and so those items are approved. The next one is 6, approval of expulsions for 6.1 Humphreys, 6.2 Yazoo City. Those items are approved. Approval of claims dockets for November 17th. That's Mrs. Upshaw.
Once again, good afternoon. Dr. Watkins, we're asking for your approval of claims docket for November the 17th. For Humphreys County, it's claims 179344 through 179656 for a total of $603,043.61. And for Yazoo City, claims 57699 to 57946 for a total of $1,814,380.24.
Thank you, Ms. Upshaw. Item 7 is approved. Item 8, financial statements.
And I ask for your approval of the financial statements for October 31st, 2022 for both Humphreys County and Yazoo City. That includes our statement of bank reconciliations, our statement of fund balances, our budget status report, statement of income, which is our revenues, our statement of expenditures, and our cash flow report of district maintenance. I ask for your approval of both.
8.1, 8.2, under financial statements, those items are approved. We're now down to the reports, approval of the monthly reports. It has Bailey and Giles, but it's actually Bailey, Austin, and Wilson for your schools. Mr. Wilson, will you introduce your principals who will present?
Yes, sir, I'd be honored. We're going to begin, we always begin with elementary, so we're gonna start with high school today. So we're gonna begin with Humphreys County High School, who is led by Mr. Ray Russell, and he will come forward with his monthly board report, followed by Ms. Janina Tanner for Owen McNair Middle School. And then finally, last but not least, Dr. LaCourtney Lanfair for Ida Green Elementary School, in that order, unless otherwise told by the superintendent.
All right, Mr. Russell, your report is on the screen, and I will roll to the next page. We're ready for you.
Yes, sir. Good evening. This is going to be the monthly report. Our first benchmark assessment results in ELA, we had 36.8 proficiency. Our growth of all is 83. And our LPS is 41.2. Our overall goal for ELA is 30 proficiency, and we exceeded it. growth of all is 80, and we exceeded that, and we are working on our growth for the LPS students in ELA. In math, our proficiency for the first benchmarks was 19.5. For growth all, 89.4. And the growth LPS is 90.4. Our goal for math was a 25 proficiency, growth of all 85, and LPS was 85. Our science, biology.
Before you go any further, Mr. Russell, just so that people will know, you are comparing your overall goal on the left side of the school, left side of the report for your
Yes.
school to the first benchmark assessment results on the right side of the report. And
Yes, sir.
just so that everyone understands who may not know, when you mentioned the term LPS, that's for the Mississippi Department of Education purposes, the LPS is the low performing students. That's calculated by calculating 25% of the number of students. When you rank their scale scores from the highest to the lowest, you calculate 25% of that number of students and count that number up from the bottom. And that's the students who fall in the LPS or bottom 25% that you see, where hopefully you can see me circling here at the bottom. And so when he mentions LPS or any other principal mentions LPS, that's what they'll be referring to. And overall growth, that's all of the students. So that will include these bottom 25% students in this middle section here as well. Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
And our growth of all for math was 89.4, and the growth LPS was a 90.4. Our growth goal was an 85 and an 85, and we exceeded in both those categories. Our science department, 13.2, and our goal for science is a 30, so we have some work to do there. And our U.S. history department was a 9.3, and our goal is 30, and we have some work to do there.
So that means you're looking for 30. That means you're looking for 30 points from that, roughly 30% of those children to be proficient, right? Roughly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, proficient or higher. So we've got work to do there. All right, we're going to the next page.
Yes, sir. Our total enrollment is 424. Our student ADA was an 87.3. Our percent of students with 2 or more absences for this month was a 25%. Teacher attendance rate was 89, and the number of discipline referrals was 20. The Humphreys County High School will address the areas of challenge presented by identifying areas of improvement and implementing effective and efficient process to improve. The areas of improvement for the month of October are the number of discipline referrals and percentage of students with 2 or more absences. Through the implementation of a comprehensive counseling effort facilitated by our counselor, Ms. Gibbons, Life Help, and Marion Counseling, we will direct all disciplinary referrals to the counseling department to narrow down those disciplinary referrals. So there's going to be infraction 1 and infraction 2 referrals. The percentage of students with 2 or more absences will be addressed by intensifying our contact efforts with parents and guardians of those particular students. We will send out letters, additional phone calls, AIM notification, and home visits if necessary. And the reason our attendance rate dropped, we are battling flu and RSV. So we're doing everything we can to try to keep our students healthy, and we're making sure they're getting their work.
So look like that's clear there.
Yes,
You
sir.
don't have additional funds because you're not in school improvement.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that completes your report. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. When I clicked on this, can you all see his report?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure you can see his report. All right, thank you. So I'm clicking back on the agenda. Can you all see the agenda now?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right, Mr. Wilson, who's up next?
Yes, sir. Now we have Ms. Janina Tanner, Owen McNair Middle School.
Ms. Tanner?
All right, good evening, everyone. So this is McNair Middle School's data for benchmark 1. Our goal, so based on last year, our accountability rating was 220, which was an F. We set a goal to be a C this year, which means we need to get an accountability score of 329 points, which equates to a C. So based on that, we set the goals to the left and how we performed for benchmark 1. We had a goal of 15% proficiency in reading on benchmark 1. We were trending at 16.7%. Our growth of all for reading, our goal was 57%. We hit 49%, so we were not successful with our growth of all goal for reading. And then our goal for our bottom 25%, now that we call LPS, was 74%. We only hit 23.4%. So we were a long ways off from hitting our growth of our bottom 25% in reading. Our LPS kids, but we have put measures in place to try to get that goal up. For math, our goal was 14% proficiency. We hit 25.2%. Our growth of all, the goal was 65%. We hit 85.8%. And then our goal for the growth of our LPS was 80%. We hit 81.3%. So for math, we were successful with exceeding our goal in all 3 categories. And then for science, we have a goal of 45%. We only hit 34.8% for science. And we are trying to put measures in place to increase that number as well for our upcoming benchmark assessment. For the month of November, our enrollment is 408 students. Our student ADA is 88.85%. Like the high school, we also have a high number of students who are out due to the flu and other sicknesses. We have 97 point. Okay, so I think we did that backwards. We don't have 97.7% kids with 2 or more absences. I think that should be flipped. All right. Our teacher attendance rate is 96% for the month of November, and then the number of disciplinary referrals for the month of November is 14.
So that should be 2.3%.
Okay, hold on one second, Dr. Watkins, my volume down. I'm sorry, say that again, sorry.
So instead of 97.7, because we know you don't have that with in terms of absence, that should be 2.3%.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're noting that. Thank you.
Right. All right. And then for the question that says, describe how the school is addressing areas of challenge presented by the data above. So at McNair Middle School, we are addressing areas of challenge presented by the school's identification by aligning our work around the district's and schools' instructional priorities. Through the implementation of a school-wide literacy initiative, all teachers are expected to employ literacy instructional shifts in their daily instruction, consistent professional learning, PLCs, learning walks, and classroom observations, ensure alignment, transferability, accountability from all members of the instructional staff. The supports that we receive from the district to support our efforts include the Resource Hub, our core actions, leadership PLCs, curriculum connections, district learning walks, a data management system, school-based counseling services, and the implementation of high dosage tutoring.
And just to add, you also have an ELA coach as well as a math coach.
Yes, sir. We also have 2 instructional coaches on site.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so this is some money that we receive because we are a CSI school. We receive school improvement funds every year to support our instructional efforts to help us hit our goals. And so we received funds that we could use for on the job, job embedded professional development, evidence-based resources, and other instructional supports. And so based on all of that, we have allocated $30,000 to invest in PD for our teachers, $51,000 to buy supplies and other evidence-based instructional resources, $15,000 for professional conferences for our teachers to attend, and then $20,000 for summer transition. And so we still have the $20,000 for our summer transition that we will have this upcoming summer for our rising 5th graders. We have spent all of the money for teacher professional conferences. We have $29,711 left in supply money and $23,000 left for teacher PD for the school year. All right. We also have daily affirmations. We have a school-wide learning condition system. We're employing MTSS for behavior and academic interventions for our students. We also have daily and weekly PLCs. We have an amplified data coach that helps us analyze our data trends so that we can know how to shift our priorities to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students. We have a house system that we employ at our school to foster SEL. And we also affirm our teachers and students through various incentives throughout the school year.
And when you say SEL, you mean what?
Social and emotional learning.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, and then we do receive school improvement funding. This is not our most current balance. This is the current balance when we did it in September. We have to do our balance again for next month. So we have spent some of those funds, but as of September, this was the amount of funding that we had left from our 1003 funding.
And we'll get an update. We'll get an update for the December.
Yes, sir, in the December. Yes, sir.
All right, and just to clarify for the community who may be observing, even though you have a section here for P16 council activities, the MDE has modified that whole process. And so once those procedures are released to school districts, which will be coming soon, we'll be setting up a P16 council on the Hampshire County side and a P16 council on the Yazoo City side. That's just FYI for the community members, okay? All right, thank you, Ms. Tanner. Mr. Wilson, will you introduce your next principal?
Yes, sir. And sorry, we have multiple devices in the same space. Okay, and at this time, I am going to introduce Dr. LaCourtney Lanfair, who has the privilege of leading Ida Green Elementary School. Dr. Lanfair.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, I'll start with our overall school goal. Last year's accountability rating was a 330. Well, I'm sorry, not 330. Our last year's accountability rating was a 236, which is an F. For the 2021-2022 school year. Our goal for this year is to get a 330, which would be a C. These are our overall school goals: 40% for reading and math proficiency. Growth of all, our school goal is 65%, and growth of the bottom 25 or the least performing subgroup is 60%. And up here, the top number, this is last year's accountability. There was 7% proficiency in reading, 6.4 proficiency in math. Growth of all had a 38.6% for reading and a 42.3% for math. And growth of the bottom 25 or the least performing subgroup was a 58.3% and a 50%. On the first term benchmark assessment, these are our results. For reading, we had a 13% proficiency and a 25% proficiency for math. So as you can see, we are making growth. And for fourth grade ELA, we actually exceeded our proficiency. So we're on the road to greatness. Also for third grade math, we were 6 students away from reaching our proficiency for that as well. On growth of all for reading, 27% for our first term benchmark results for reading and 33% for math. And for third grade math and fourth grade ELA, we exceeded our growth for that. So we're doing really good in those areas. We're not too far away for third grade ELA. Third grade ELA, we're about 8 students away from achieving our goal. Fourth grade math, we're about 6 students away from achieving our goal. And for the growth of the bottom 25 or least performing subgroup, for reading, 32%, for math, 63%. And for those, we are on the road in the right direction also. We are about 4 students away in third grade ELA from achieving that goal. We are 5 students away in third grade math, 6 students away in fourth grade ELA, and 6 students away in fourth grade math. Okay, moving on to the next part. For October, our total school enrollment, we have 371 students. Our student average daily attendance is 90.3%, And that's also due to flu. We have a lot of students out with flu. The percent of students with 2 or more absences, we have 8%. Teacher attendance rate, 87%. We had some teachers out also with the flu. Number of discipline referrals, 6. Okay, our plan to become a successful school. We are a one-to-one school district. Each student has a device. We have an MDE literacy coach who comes twice a week. We have an amplified data coach who comes twice a week also. We have a school-based literacy and math coach. And we have high dosage tutorers for 3rd and 4th grades ELA and math. We have, let me pull it back up. We have target PLCs for planning, data, and content. We have common planning with teachers to make sure that everything is aligned. And some things that our district does to help us out in these areas. We have district learning walks. We have leadership PLCs. We have a resource hub with everything in one location. We have curriculum connections, and we have a data management system. Also, some things we're doing to become a successful school. We ensure that high quality tier 1 instruction is occurring. We have weekly newsletters that go home to parents. We have weekly grade reports to parents. Teachers have to send home graded papers every week and just keep that open line of communication with parents. We have remind messages that go home to parents. And also we have MTSS process in place with individualized reading plans. We do progress monitoring, and we do checks to make sure everything is in place. And another thing, to increase the teacher daily attendance, we offer rewards to teachers for positive behaviors such as gift cards, duty-free lunches. We create a team attendance competition among groups of teachers. We continue to build and create a culture of care. We can continue to build positive relationship with teachers. Our plan to decrease the number of chronically absent students, of course, increase parental involvement. PBIS, that's positive behavior intervention and supports, offer those rewards and incentives to students to come to school, continue creating that culture of care with students, continue building those positive relationships with students, minimize obstacles to attendance, get down to the root cause of why students are missing school, and monitor attendance and follow up with students who are chronically absent. Okay, our plan to keep discipline referrals low is PBIS, and I just referred to that. That's positive behavior intervention and support. They're just offering those rewards and incentives to students. SEL, that's social emotional learning, and restorative practices, that is making sure that we understand the root cause of the discipline, not just sending students home, but understanding why they are behaving the way they are. And also with our financial report, these numbers are not updated either. These are our numbers for September, but we will get those numbers updated for December. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Dr. Landfair.
You're
And
welcome.
now we'll go on to Yazoo City. Ms. Bailey, will you introduce your principals?
Good evening again, everyone. I'm going to provide some support this evening with monthly board reports for McCoy and Woolfolk, and Dr.
Which one do you
Fuller.
want to start with first?
We'll start with Dr. Fuller for Yazoo City High School.
Okay. Dr. Fuller?
Good evening, everyone, again. These are Yazoo City High School's first benchmark results. Our reading, well, compared to our overall goals on our first benchmark, reading proficiency was 7.4%. Growth of all was 35.4%, and the growth of our LPS, lowest performing students, was 15.4%. In math, proficiency, 9.6% proficient. The growth of all students was 93.7, and the growth of our lowest performing students is 92.9. Proficiency for biology, 6.1%, and proficiency for U.S. history on the first benchmark, 57%. And our participation was 95%. All right. Student ADA for the month, 89.42%. Number of students with 2 or more discipline referrals, absences, 15.79%. Teachers' attendance rate was 95%, and the number of discipline referrals. That number did increase. We have a unique situation here that we are we have identified, and we're putting some measures in place to combat those issues. All right. Discipline referrals they've increased actually, but we've begun to take a more proactive approach by utilizing the service of Marian counseling. We now have a full-time Marian counseling on campus for our day-to-day operations. They conduct individual therapy and case management sessions that are both school and home-based. Also, the Yazoo City High School, we are utilizing and implementing behavior intervention plans that include individual and group counseling per our site-based counseling, which is our Yazoo City High School counselors. Multi-tiered restorative practice approach is being implemented to change the culture and climate of the school. If I may mention, Dr. Watkins, about the meeting with the mayor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
On today, I met with the mayor to discuss some of these issues, and I did discuss the number of discipline referrals. And again, I did explain to him we do have a unique situation here at Yazoo City High School, and we had a great discussion on implementing a plan actually right before Christmas to see if we can combat some of those issues. So again, we did have a great discussion on today, and we will meet in the near future to go ahead and finalize and implement the plan for Yazoo City High School.
Did you all discuss the community walkthrough?
Yes, that was the gist of it. And right now we're trying to now identify key stakeholders that will be a part of the community walkthrough.
Okay. Any idea of when it's going to be? Will it occur before Christmas?
Yes, sir. That is the plan. You did mention that we both have about a week on this break that's upcoming and for the Thanksgiving break. So that gave us both time to think about some more ideas. And after we come back, we will be meeting and we will have this in place before we leave for Christmas.
All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
All right. The district leadership team have collaborated with Yazoo City High School on efforts to improve instructional strategies and student learning for all students and teachers. One effective strategy is the annotation process being implemented by teachers. Teachers have been introduced to a plethora of resources located in the district's resource hub. Additionally, these resources assist in improving teacher instructional strategies and overall student achievement. Okay, we don't have any past money funds. The remaining balance now we have 44,900.
Well, these are your September numbers, and you reported those already.
Right.
So this will be updated for December. Okay.
Right. All right.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Fuller. Ms. Bailey. Which one do you want to do? Woolfolk first? Ms. Bailey, do you want to do Woolfolk first?
I'm sorry, I'm still muted. Yes, sir.
Okay. And we'll only do the data part. Okay. We'll only do pages 1 and 2 of each one.
Yes, sir. So we would like to report our benchmark 1 assessment results. When you look at our goals for the school year for Woolfolk Middle School, and of course our goal is to be a C. Woolfolk has set a goal of 334 points for this school year. So when we compare our results You see 10.5 for proficiency in reading. You see 45.3 growth of all for reading, and 53.4 growth of our lowest performing subgroup. And you will see that we fell short here in this particular area. And so we know that we need to implement impactful strategies to move the needle here and get our students performing where we need to in the area of reading. So we'll move to mathematics. We had 16.1% proficient in math, about 4 percentage points short of our goal. In the area of growth and growth overall, we exceeded the goal slightly for growth overall and by about a little over 15 points for our growth of our LPS students. So we do want to acknowledge that those goals were met for the first benchmark. In the area of science, we do have some work to do. Our goal is 20%, and we had 7.6% proficient. And science teacher coaching is being provided on the at Wolf Oak Middle School. So we're looking for great gains in that area for our second benchmark. And on to our leading indicator data. We do have 495 students reported, an attendance rate of 93.6. And so we have some work to do in that area to ensure we have 95% or above student attendance. There are 29% of the students have 2 or more absences, and 96% teacher attendance rate. We, of course, want to keep that up above 95% as well. And 40 student referrals for the month for the prior month of October.
Okay. And we'll move on to McCoy now.
Okay. So likewise for McCoy, we have set goals for the year. The goal for McCoy is, of course, to be a C, and 330 points is the target for this school year. So, of course, McCoy leadership set their goals in each of the areas of the accountability model. And if we take some time to compare our results from first benchmark to our goals, you'll see that we have 9.5% proficient in ELA, so about 3.5% percentage points short there. 47.1% growth overall in the area of reading, and 61.3% growth of our LPS. And so what you want to know about McCoy is that you have third graders and fourth graders who count for proficiency, growth overall, and growth bottom 25%. Our third grade retesters count in our growth area and a proficient area, and of course, and growth bottom 25%. And then of course, fourth, same process for mathematics. So in the area of math, we have 20.1% proficient. So we want to acknowledge that the goal was exceeded in that area. We see that growth overall had 83.3%, and our target was exceeded for that measure as well. And then growth bottom 25 or lowest performing subgroup, it was 86.2% of those students that met growth. So we want to acknowledge the math department at McCoy Elementary for bringing the points to the table to help move the school closer to where they need to be. You'll see that
you mentioned growth from fourth grade, but we're also getting growth from fifth grade as well in that number.
Yes.
Just as a reminder.
Absolutely. For science, we want to take note that our goal is 40%, and our proficiency on the first benchmark was 5.9%. So we have some serious gains to make there, and also some decisions to make regarding our other areas in terms of reading and math, to adjust those goals to ensure we reach that 330, because we do have some challenges there in the area of science.
And it's important to note that here science is for fifth grade only for McCoy. And for Woolfolk, it's 8th grade only science. When we presented on the Humphrey side, science for McNair included 5th and 8th grade because both of those grade levels are in McNair. And of course, biology for the high schools for science. All right.
Okay. So looking at our data here for McCoy Elementary, current enrollment, 617 students, student ADA 93.26. Of course, we want to push that needle up past 95%. 35% of the students with 2 or more absences, and likewise on both sides, we've been battling the flu here. Our teacher attendance rate is relatively low. And so again, we want to ensure that we have our teacher attendance rate up at or above 95% for each month, because if students and teachers are not there, we won't be able to ensure that learning is at its highest. And then of course, student referrals, 17 for the month. And we do want to note that there have been some significant strategies put in place to positively impact that particular number and bring those rates down.
And it's important to note here for those schools that included November numbers, the November numbers are not complete because once we do the report again, it will have to include the days up until November 30th. And so I really appreciate the principals that inserted the numbers for November to date, but that will change. So I just want to make sure for those members of the public, when you see this again and you see the November numbers shift, it's because they have to modify them to include all of November versus the numbers that they have now to date. And of course, the October numbers would gave us a complete number for October. And so thank you, Ms. Bailey, for covering for Woolfolk and for McCoy, as for those principals have been out ill, and we're looking forward to them returning to us healthy, happy, and whole, because we need them on their post doing the work that they do for the children of those schools, for Woolfolk and for McCoy. Mr. Wilson, I believe you said that you had an announcement.
Yes, sir. I want the public and the attendees to know that I asked Dr. Watkins if I could insert an announcement like one would do at church during the church announcements. So he granted that permission. I would be remiss if we did not acknowledge our superintendent earlier in the meeting. Dr. Watkins, if you'll go back up to the top of the agenda. We acknowledge our principals who have been selected to serve on the state superintendent's advisory council, and our students, but our very own superintendent also was selected to serve on the state superintendent's advisory council with 40 superintendents across the state of Mississippi. And we are really excited about that as well. So it reminds me of a quote from John C. Maxwell that says, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." So Dr. Watkins, we appreciate you for showing us excellence in leadership by modeling that every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. I certainly appreciate you sharing that with the public. And it is my honor to work with all of the staff and leaders and parents and community for the Mississippi Achievement School District on the Humphreys County and the Yazoo City side. We realize that we have a heavy lift, but it is the right work, and our children and our community deserve quality experiences that will produce quality outcomes for what we're going to do for this community. And so we appreciate everyone who was able to participate in our board meeting this evening. This does conclude the meeting, board meeting for the Mississippi Achievement School District. The meeting is now adjourned.